Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and apparently these videos that I do are some kind of trend, so I've apparently trend hopped onto this thing, completely by accident. Like, I didn't mean to do a trendy thing, and to be honest, it seems like a very weird trend. Like what, people just sitting around in the middle of nowhere just talking to the camera with no jump cuts or anything like that. I know everyone says that about like a new trend, ooh, it's a bit weird that this trend's going on, but like, this just seems like an interesting one because it doesn't seem like the sort of thing that would be a trend. I really don't understand how these videos have formed an audience and how people seem to be reciprocating what I'm saying quite so much. They seem to really take something out of what I'm saying, and like, I'm not a wise person, I'm a fucking idiot, so I don't really totally understand why people are engaging with it the way that they do, but I'm really thankful that they do, and the fact that people has led me to do more. And you know, from doing so many different videos, I've had to like think about new topics, think about new things, and think of ways of expanding on previous points. And it's helped me sort of work out my own thought process for myself, work out my own worldview, and make sense of the world in general, because it's quite hard to do that. I'm going to use the fog as a metaphor because it might feel like there's a load of fog over you around now, but then as time goes on, you figure out more of what the world is, you clear that fog. Obviously I can't clear the fog in real life, but I can clear the fog in my mind, right? So yeah, these videos are some kind of trend. There's a few of them, there's a few channels that do this kind of thing. I've done a video talking about a couple of them, like just shouting out small channels, because I thought that'd be a nice little thing to do, I guess. And you know, it's the sort of thing that's just kind of odd, because it made me think, hang on, if this is a trend, that means that at some point the trend will be not trendy anymore and the next thing will be the trend. And I never wanted to be trendy in the first place. So should I just keep doing it and then let myself become irrelevant? Or at some point, will the trend move and I need to move with the trend? I don't quite know, but like, something needs to come of it, because you know, I want to keep doing these videos. I really enjoy doing these videos. I'm not going to stop doing these kind of videos, even if like some new trend comes around. I might give that trend a go. I don't know what the trend would be. I think the last trend was like the skits on YouTube. You know, like you'd have, say, like, maybe it'd be me, and then it'd be me with a wig on, so like me as a woman, right? And like it'd be like, oh, hey baby, do you want to go and get some food? And then the woman me would be like, oh, I can't pick a place to eat. And it'd be like, haha, typical women, they don't know where they want to eat. Unlike us men who always know where we want to eat. Please like and subscribe. Like, that was like the last trend. I've kind of taken the piss out of it a little bit. And then this is the current trend, just people yabbering on about things that they're really not equipped to discuss, like what I'm doing. And then whatever the next trend will be kind of interesting. I mean, like, I've been quite worried about people's attention spans as of late, and doing these videos and seeing the engagement and the audience retention that these videos get, which is actually quite high, really made me feel a lot more comforted, because TikTok and like YouTube Shorts and all that feels like it's really wrecking people's minds, and it feels like it's getting in the way and intruding on what the collective experience of entertainment is all about. And it's becoming this thing of just like, oh, haha, have you seen this video? Ding, 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 ding. I'm doing like sound effects in the video, and then there'll be like Subway Surfers on the bottom and all that sort of stuff, and that's a little bit irritating, you know. And that's becoming more and more prevalent, and you know, that's just now. Think about what's going to be the case in 20 years for that kind of material. The same way that CGI looked a bit weird in 1992, but it looks fine in 2012. And you know, but then what ended up happening is we got too comfortable with it, because we got too reliant on it. And now CGI doesn't look as good now as it did 10 years ago. And that's not because the technology hasn't improved. It's because we as a community industry have gotten complacent with using CGI rather than what it was before, where it was like, well, this technology isn't that good, so we need to use it sparingly. But now it's like, oh, the technology's fine, so we can use it as much as we want. And that's cool that we have the technology, and at some point we'll get the quality back, because the technology will improve so much that we can just be reliant on it in that way. But you know, I feel like trends are interesting, because like at the moment the trend is this talking sort of thing, but then, and I know the audience for this is probably people that like maybe feel like they think deeper than other people. I'm not saying that to insult you, because you probably already know that you do that. I'm just sort of saying it as like, that's what the core audience is, rather than like I don't imagine there's many people that are into like, you know, like the Andrew Tate sort of stuff, or like, you know, that screamy sort of like reactionary sort of stuff. I don't think people that watch my videos necessarily come from that kind of thing, which I'm kind of glad about. But they're so inherently different, because that's very loud and energetic, and what I do is a lot more sort of almost sedated. You know, I think people watch these sort of videos to maybe make themselves feel a bit more relaxed or comforted, and I really hope people aren't doing it trying to like, you know, because they haven't got any friends or whatever, because like if you're doing that, like I can't be your friend really. Like you already know like about parasocial relationships because you use the internet, and that's been a buzzword over the past couple of years, and it's a buzzword that is really important, and I think it's actually a really good buzzword that's taken off, because I think it's made people a lot more aware about how predatory the practice of a YouTuber or creator almost manipulating their audience into doing certain things can be. Like, you know, we've got so many different examples of that. Like, I'm just trying to think of a good one. I think in terms of changing the entire modicum of culture has been a goal almost of some YouTubers, and I think they have succeeded in that. Like, I think Andrew Tate's a good example, because I fucking hate him, but he's everywhere and I can't escape him. And when I go on my phone, he appears on my phone, and like, and that all happened over a few months. And like the followers and the fans were spreading his bloody idiotic message all over the place, and you couldn't move for it. And that, as a result, got the people that didn't really mind to latch on. And now, as a result, not just of him, but of like the whole kind of reactionary alt-right kind of thing that kind of came before that, you know, we've started to see a regression in like cultural, social issues because of these YouTubers. And obviously their wishes are then like reflected in the audience, because the audience attaches to them, and like these people get really successful. So the fact that they're so successful means that their message is resonating with people, and the fact that their message is resonating with so many people means that politicians then use these audiences for like voter bait, essentially, to then go and push their own idiotic, disgusting practices forward, like banning abortion and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I shouldn't really, you know, normally these videos try and be more neutral and don't like just randomly discuss like dark shit like that. But like this is the thing though, is I feel like it's important to just be yourself and not be someone that isn't you, right? Because that's why these videos I think have taken off, because I am basically just talking the way that I would talk to normal people. Obviously I'm being a bit more presentary about it, but these are my real thoughts, my real opinions, and they're opinions that have been formed based on conversations I've had with my friends and family that have led me to consider a point and then figure out how to verbalize it and then do this. Like, I don't do a script or anything like that. I've got my phone in front of me now, but it's kind of just to see how long the video is going to be, because like if it ends up getting too long, I'll sort of go, right, let's wrap it up. But I noticed that a lot of people are appreciating what I'm doing, and like I get a lot of really, really pleasant comments, and I feel bad for not responding to all of them. Like, but at the same time, I can't really respond to all of them. Like, I got about 200 while I was asleep. I would still be there responding to all of them. I mean, I'm sure I could copy paste, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, but like at that point, you don't really want that. Like, say if I wrote to someone and I really put my passion into it because like I like them, right? And they just said, thank you. I wouldn't like that. I've done it a couple times and it's felt a little bit grim, you know? So yeah, but then on terms of the trend thing, I don't want this to be a trend that I just follow, ride or die. And I don't want to just be the guy that does just these videos, right? If this stops working, if people stop like caring about this stuff, I'm going to experiment with new forms and ideas. And the same way that like Joel Haver, he didn't just do the animation thing, right? I don't want to just do this. I'm meant to be making a film, right? Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. That's not this. This series isn't called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. The film is called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and it's about a wannabe rock star who pretends like he's playing at Glastonbury when actually he's just playing at random open mics, right? In like Chesterfield or some bloody place that no one's ever heard of. So what I want to do is start making that film properly. So I might figure out some way of getting some of these videos and keep doing the videos and stuff like that because I really enjoy them, and I want, you know, this audience to continue to grow, and I want to find more topics to discuss, and I want to raise more discussion because there's some really fun discussion going on in the comments, which helps me to figure out where I'm right and wrong on certain points, and helps me to figure out various things. Like, it almost is a parasocial relationship, and for now that's a wholesome parasocial relationship, but the more this channel grows, the less wholesome that's going to become, and the more of a problem it's going to become. And I feel like I shouldn't really just like admit that. I probably shouldn't have admitted half the things in this video, and I also shouldn't be doing this meta thing of like, ooh, I shouldn't be doing this. That means that I'm like some kind of, you know, cutting edge kind of guy, you know, who does things that no one else would dare do, which is the impression that doing that sort of thing does. And I don't like all these forms of manipulation that people do. It's the same way that people will go like, oh, 93% of you aren't subscribed, so please can you hit the YouTube subscribe button and hit the bell notifications. It's like, it's just that, but it's more subconscious and almost insidious as a result of that. But sometimes I find myself just doing it by accident. So I don't know. I feel like as I've gotten to the point now, because this channel is nearly at 10,000 subscribers, so I'm starting to understand why various YouTubers do what they do. And I've kind of realized that they're real people. Like, you look at them and like, you know, you obviously know that they're a real person, but you don't recognize like what they do when they turn the camera off. Like, obviously I don't know what Captain Sparkles does when he turns the camera off. Like, maybe he goes and makes himself a peanut butter and jam sandwich, or maybe he goes down to the bar and gets pissed. I don't know. That wasn't like an accusation, by the way. Also, sorry if I like said something mean about him there, because I don't actually know fucking anything about him. He was just the first YouTuber that came to mind, because I used to really like him when I was like 12. Because when he did the Minecraft videos, like, now I think he does like more reaction stuff. But anyway, yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this video because like it's very difficult to figure out why I'm doing this, because like at the moment, it's very easy to turn it into autopilot and just like pump videos after videos out. And it's very important, like if you're working on content stuff at the moment, films and things like that, you might have written a list of various videos you need to make and side bits of content. Don't do that. Just make each thing as it goes, because you can't do things that way. You can't factorize it because the audience can tell. And I think I notice like when they respond to a certain video that I've done as if like, yeah, you're just shitting one out here, to like pack it in and give us something that we actually want. That's why like it's important to just like, sometimes I go out and film like 6 of these videos and it feels like a factory churning stuff out. Sometimes I go and I film 1 or 2, and those 1 or 2 are really down from the heart, but they don't necessarily do super well on the algorithm. Sometimes one that is just like a load of crap that I've churned out does do really well on the algorithm, and people can't tell the difference between what I consider a good video and what I consider a bad video, because, you know, the death of the artist is real. What I think of these things matters not, right? What you think about these things does. What your friends think about them do. Do they think, oh, he's that guy that likes those bloody Jonny Mozza videos, or that bloody tool twat that talks into a microphone about nothing? You know, or maybe there's someone else who really likes it and sees like some kind of philosophy in it. Like, I've gotten into Dream Theater lately. I, for the longest time, saw nothing in Dream Theater. I didn't understand why anyone would like it. But now it's clicked for me and I get why people like it. Maybe it's the same with these videos. Maybe people have clicked with it somewhat in some capacity, and I don't necessarily understand why or how. And maybe the act of trying to harness that in and of itself is some form of selling out and manipulation. I don't know. But then talking about it all doesn't necessarily immediately rectify that and make it all wholesome again either. Like, it's ever since it got monetized, this channel got monetized, now there's money behind it, right? Now I'm just another one of those fucking like people out there that does things for money. I noticed actually, I did a video about advertising, and what was weird is I started talking about Prime, Amazon Prime, and how it's like a really good product or whatever, and yeah, it's all right. But then I realized, hang on, I've got an Amazon affiliate link in the bottom of this. Isn't that the most sellout thing ever? Like, that's fucking foul, right? And like, if I saw that from another YouTuber, I'd be like, ugh, fuck's sake. So I am now my own worst enemy in a way, but like, I need the Amazon affiliate link there, because if I make a sale on that, that's like a tidy £2.50. So say if you times that by 100, like, that's pretty good. Say if it's even £2.50 per day, if I manage to increase the channel to that kind of capacity, that's my bus fare to and from work sorted, you know? Like, I don't think about things in like a big, like lofty sense. I'm not materialistic, but I do just want to make a nice like amount for, just to have like even like a, you know, 3-bedroom flat for me and my girlfriend. That'd be nice. That's all I want really. That and like a, I don't know, a Toyota Prius Max. I don't want some like fancy car. I never understood the point of wanting a Lamborghini or anything like that. And I know like I'm getting above my station here, like saying, oh, you know, but I don't know. It's something that I've had to kind of grapple with, the idea of like, what if I become my own worst enemy? What if like all the other YouTubers that started off so sweet and innocent and then became dickheads, what if that same fate comes to me? Because all of those people weren't stupid. They were intelligent people, and they still are intelligent people. They know what they're doing, which means that their acts of selling out means that they are bad people inherently. What if I do the same thing? And then people in the comments will go, oh, you would never do that. But then, fuck, you'd all have egg on your face if I sold out, wouldn't you? Like, I don't quite know. But I do find it interesting to discuss these things because I want to keep an open relationship between me and you, the audience. As in, I want you to understand what this operation is, kind of how it works, and that way you can judge for yourself whether an act that I do is selling out or not. And if I do start selling out, I want to be called out on it, please, because like, you know, I haven't been offered any sponsorships yet, but I'm not against the idea of taking sponsorships. Like, imagine at the end of this video was sponsored by grass. Don't you all want, and I have to do it in like, don't you all like to eat grass? This bit of grass has some purple on the end. I think a vegetable was growing out of this. It could have been an onion. Someone was eating an onion and sat on this thing, and then they threw it away, littering. So, get your grass now, 50% off at the garden centre, right? Imagine every video had to end like that. Wouldn't you, like, you skip them anyway. And there's this add-on that I've got on Chrome, I can't remember what it's called, but basically it makes it so that the community of YouTube viewers can like select when a sponsorship is, and it will just automatically skip it when it gets to that point. It can be a little bit jarring actually. I think it should come up with like a skip this sponsorship button, the same way that you've got to skip this ad button, which at the same time, I don't actually understand why they've got a skip ad button. I've noticed what they've done recently is instead of having like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, now they have like a yellow bar that leads you to the countdown. I think they're doing that so that they can make the countdown bigger. So now it doesn't show 5 seconds, now it could be like 12 seconds or 8 seconds for skipping the ad, and that will only increase with time as they slowly nickel and dime you, you know? So I don't know, this video is a bit all over the place, and I do apologize for that. And I know it's sort of, maybe it's a little bit like, I don't know, just someone that's talking about issues that don't really exist, that aren't relatable to you. But you know, like if you're a video guy or a creative, this same thing could happen to you. You might do something that just blows up on the algorithm, and then find yourself like trying to keep that momentum going and grappling with how you're going to make that happen. And I don't know, there's a few subscribers of mine that have like 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers. I'd like to hear from all of you about how you managed to grapple with this and managed to stay humble, while so many people would say like you're an inspiration. Like that's another, like I get so many comments about that, and it's hard for me to try and like wrestle with that and try and figure out how to be a humble person still, because that's what they want. And the fact that I'm getting so many comments saying I'm an inspiration makes me like not big-headed, but it gives me an ego boost. And what if I become dependent on the ego boost? What if like this channel only lasts another 2 months, you know, and then I'm back down to nothing? Would I like crash and burn like mentally because of that? Because I've gotten so accustomed to the praise? I don't know. I really don't know. And they're all, I know it's all a little bit like, I don't know, guy with a Lamborghini complains about the petrol or price or some shit like that. I don't know. You kind of get my point. Like, it's not relatable to you, what I'm discussing here. But I feel like it is an insight into what all your favorite YouTubers kind of think about. And as they get bigger, there'll be more issues to wrestle with. And as I get bigger, if I get to say 1 million subscribers, I'd love to do like a video about this same topic from that perspective, because I feel like there's not enough discussion on the lives. And I'm not saying it for a pity party or anything like that. Don't feel sorry for these guys with like all these subscribers, because they're monetizing you fucks for like every penny you're worth, with the advertising, with the sponsorship deals, with the Patreons, with the, I don't know, the donation box with their products and merch drops and shit that they do, all this various stuff. Like, it's, you know, they're not innocent or anything like that. They don't deserve your sympathy. But I do think it's interesting to at least understand what's going on so that you can be more intelligent with regards to how you consume media. So yeah, I think that's going to be the video. Thank you very much for watching this one and listen to me basically talk about how, like, you know, my first world problems really, well, my 0th world problems at this point. Yeah, so thank you for listening to that. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And I hope you do blow up on the algorithm, because I'm like just a normal guy. Like, I know every YouTuber probably says that, but like, I'm not like anything special, you know? I don't have like friends in high places. I have a friend who has like, who when I met him had 7,000 subscribers. And I had another friend who, when I met him, had 60 subscribers. But then he got big. He didn't get big, but he got like 2 videos that cracked 1 million views, and then he got to like 17,000 subscribers. He's one of my best. They're both actually some of my best mates. But like, they're not like big YouTubers. They don't make like insane levels of money off it or anything. They're not like driving around in like Porsche 911s or anything like that. Yeah, so that's the point I'm making. I'm not like from some like high lofty place. But you know, I don't know. I don't really know. But thank you very much for watching this video. I know it kind of pitted out, whatever the phrase is. Sorry about the constant patting. There's a game of tennis going on over there. I'll rotate the video so you can see. Hang on, let me show you. And we can like close out the video with this. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Bye. Bye. Hey up everybody, my name's Jonny Mozza, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the idea of commodifying your life for content, which is, in a bit of a cynical way, what I'm doing at the moment really. I mean, what are these videos if not me just wandering around rambling my soul out onto the camera, right? Think about this, in a technological sense, anyone out there could take all of these videos, compile my voice into a series of data sets with various moods, emotions, and so on and so forth. I've done a bit of anger, I've done a bit of sad, I've done a bit of happy, etc., right? Put all of that in some kind of AI algorithm sort of thing, and then just make my voice say whatever it wants. You could have my voice say all sorts of things that I would never agree with. And what am I to do about it? Because I've commodified my life for the sake of YouTube money, right? That's basically what this is, essentially. And every sort of person on the internet that you follow that has a bit of a following or whatever, that makes videos or streams or whatever, they're all doing it. Every single one of them. And they all grapple with this idea of like, how do we take the fact that, one, this is a job, even if it's a side hustle, it's still a job, it's something that you do semi-professionally, right? You combine that with the fact that you have a private life outside of this. Particularly if you're doing the sort of thing that I'm doing, which is the whole earnest sort of thing, where part of what you like about these videos is the fact that you think that I'm sort of being myself. And I basically am. Like, I mean, I'm being a bit more dictatorial about it, and I'm enunciating my words a little bit more, and I'm not mumbling and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, in certain conversations, you know, I'll be a little bit different. I'll be a bit different with my friends, then a little bit different with my parents, etc., right? As we all are, because we're not all completely one note. If you meet me in real life, I might not be exactly like this. I might be having a bad day. I might be a little bit, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You might not be able to pick that up on the mic. That's how much I'm mumbling, right? So I think every big or small creator, YouTuber that is doing this on a level where they're making any kind of money from this, because I am now technically making money on this. So no longer, I think, are my opinions and the way that I preach things, are they completely innocent anymore? Because now I have money behind me from one of the biggest companies in the fucking world, Google, right? And like, I'll probably take sponsorships. I'm not someone that will say, ooh, no, I'm too pure for sponsors. That's not, I'm not going to take some bloody scam thing. I'm not just going to promote any old shite, but I'll still take some sponsorships at some point. I'll you know, monetize this channel in various ways. Like, the idea is to make money, and I don't think you should hide that fact, because every fucking YouTuber does it. The only difference is that some of them won't tell you that they're doing it for money, right? And it's not like I will sell various aspects of the authenticity of these videos for the sake of money. I wouldn't do that, because I do have some level of responsibility with this platform to use it for good, right? And I started thinking, like, I have like what, 5,500 subscribers now. I've got like 800 returning viewers according to the analytics, which means that's people that return to each video, pretty much all of them, and they comment and they're fans and all that sort of stuff, right? So I've got people that will follow this and listen to what I have to say. So should I be using this platform to promote good causes? Well, in a way, yes, I should. That would be the good moral thing to do, because it would help, you know, all the hungry people out there that are out there in the world. It would help all the people that are being impoverished or stuck in war zones or whatever, right? There's loads of horrible stuff going on in the world, and I could use this platform to try and, you know, quell some of it, even if it's like just helping one person. That would be good. But at the same time, you know, when you're watching TV and the adverts come on and it's like, "Ugh, this starving child in Africa is so sad and it needs your help," and it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. And it's like, obviously you do care about like the fact that there's starving people in the world, and that makes me feel terrible, but I don't want to feel terrible right now. I want to feel happy and watch some dumb shit on the internet, you know? I don't want to think about the fucking wars that are going on, the genocides that are going on, and all the bloody starving people, the billions of people that are going hungry right now. But that's from a place of privilege where I can actually say that and not give a shit, right? So should I be using the platform to promote more good causes? And I sort of sat and I thought about that, and it's kind of, well, yeah, but you don't want to YouTubeify yourself either, because he goes on, he's always banging on about something, isn't he? Radiohead has started doing it. They bang on about whatever the new cultural issue is. And if you do that, you end up getting sucked in, because there's so many of them. There's so many of these issues that are going on. If you talk about one, then you get done for not talking about the other. And there's all of them. If I try and talk about all of them, that one means I've got to research more, which I don't have time for. I'm making videos and I'm making films and I've got life to live, right? And two, it also means that it ends up introducing yourself into this endless fucking culture war where there's people on both sides that are annoyed at the other one for supporting this and not supporting that. And like, I've done a video all about that specific topic on trying to stay apolitical while still having beliefs and core values, because I do think that those things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Like, I, for instance, am on the left side of politics, and I will stand by my politics on that side. But at the same time, I will try and tune out the overwhelming amount of crap that gets fed onto you by this platform, YouTube, right? And all the other ones, all the Twitters and the Facebooks, you scroll down them and it's just like, Jesus Christ, it's depressing, the stuff that's coming out of these things, and the way everyone gets so agitated and arsy of one another. And I don't appreciate that, so I kind of want this to be a haven from that, but at the same time, that means that I'm leaving random issues to be, you know, go unspoken about, right? So I don't know in terms of that. And at the same time, if I have a platform and I say the wrong thing, not in terms of like being like offending someone or whatever, but I just mean in terms of giving the wrong advice, giving the wrong idea across, or maybe even if I just phrase what I'm saying poorly so that you take the wrong idea from it and that ends up impacting you in a negative way. I don't want to do that kind of thing, you know, because I'm just some guy. I get stuff wrong all the time, just the same way that you do, or that bloody they do, or whoever is out there, you know. And what am I going to do in regards to, say, if this channel really grows and grows and grows, and it gets, say, 1 million subscribers? Let's pray for that, right? You know, how am I going to? Because I feel like I'm understanding why YouTubers are the annoying way that they are, because it's this draw. Like, I feel this negative sort of draw, almost this like black light that's trying to get me to be a bit more of this annoying, stereotypical, like, you know, smash that like button and all that bullshit, right? You know, I know I want to subscribe to this channel. I like the videos. I'm going to subscribe. You don't need to keep fucking telling me, right? It annoys me when people do that. So I never tell. I might talk, say, you know, leave a comment, right, about certain things. I might raise a question for the sake of it, for the sake of like. But then also, that's not totally innocent either, because I'm doing it to drive engagement, right? So nothing here is totally innocent, right? And this is me telling this to you quite honestly and earnestly, right? Which again is another form of manipulation. Everything every fucking YouTuber does to try and deceive you into forming this parasocial relationship is deceptive in some form, even if they have good intentions by it, right? And like, I can't now sit here and say I have good intentions. I do, but it's hard for me to say that because I'm here giving you the kind of insider look, at least what I think is the insider look, onto how these larger channels operate and how, not necessarily how they logistically operate, but how they emotionally operate and how they sort of see what's going on and how they think about the audience and the reason that they're making these videos and all that sort of stuff. And you know, I do kind of start to understand it now. I understand why they put the, you know, the smash that like button bullshit on there. I see why they do the Mr. Beast style fucking thumbnails. I see why they do the, hey guys, all the fucking shouting and swearing and all that stuff. I kind of get it, right? Because I've had the impulse to try and do that for the sake of my own viewership and the sake of growing my channel, because that's what it's all about. It's all a fucking numbers game, right? Recently, I watched Animator versus Animation, the Green Influencer arc, which is a really shit title for it should have been called like Animation versus Influencers or something like that. But anyway, the whole point of it is there's these little stick figures that live in the desktop computer world, right? And they can press buttons, they can go on Chrome, they can play solitaire, all this sort of stuff, right? And one of them becomes a YouTuber and they start becoming this TikTok head and like they get really annoying about it and they start to alienate their friends because of the content that they're making. Not necessarily the content they're making, but how they're treating everything around them, right? That's kind of what is going on here. And he ends up isolating himself in a realm of numbers and analytics. And you know what? I felt myself doing that. I was at the pub the other day and I was looking at the analytics app on my phone and I said to my mate, I really need to uninstall this app because it's taken over my life. And he went, yep. Wasn't like a, no, don't worry about it. It was like a full, yep. Like clearly, yes, you are. So I've uninstalled the analytics app on my phone. It's still on the desktop computer and it's still on the laptop because I can't uninstall Chrome really, or because then I'll just get Internet Explorer and I'll just do it on that. You know, and I've uninstalled the app before and then re-downloaded it. And then uninstalled it again and re-downloaded it. So there's no necessarily escaping these numbers and this drive because I know what each one of those fucking views means. It means that someone has bothered to click on this. I know what seeing 150 fucking search terms for one of my videos means. It means that people clearly like it so much they've gone out their way to Google it, and in some of those circumstances it's them watching it on their own. Some circumstances will be like maybe you've got a mate round and you show them one of my videos. I met someone who they said that they were a fan of my videos and they said they watched them with their boyfriend. Hello to them. They know who they are. And yeah, it's amazing to know that that is what each of those numbers and those bars on the fucking graph mean, right? But at the same time, it's very easy to get the fucking money eyes and to become very greedy about it. And I understand why they become so greedy about it now. The general YouTubers out there, you know how you find a YouTuber and they're very, very good, and then they sell out and they get worse and they become some really annoying personality, or they become a alt-right grifter or whatever, right? And they just become a generally unpleasant person. You're sick of them by that point, right? I worry that that would happen to me. I don't want to become like that because that feels like it would be me selling my soul, my personality, and I feel like I'm already selling my soul in a weird little way. So I try and grapple with this idea that there are so many people out there that are engaging with what I'm doing and that like and appreciate and find inspiration from what I'm doing. There's been people who've said that they paint to my videos, that people that have made albums because of me, right? There are people that have like started to get their life back on track because of me, and like all sorts of positive experiences have come from me just walking around. Like the only way I make these videos, right? Do you know how I make them? Basically, I'm going to see a mate right now, right? I leave like 3 hours earlier than I need to, and I just wander around their local area and just do some videos. That's all this is. I've got a lav mic here, right? It's attached to the phone, right? And then I get back, edit it, quick little sync the audio and the video, put the 4 free overlays on the side. Let's get rid of those. See, that's what this looks like. Let's take the color correction off. That's what this looks like. You know, it's not that good, is it? It's all right, I guess. Let's put it back. There we are. And this is basically all it is. It's not really some mad special operation or anything like that. And you know, I want to keep it like this for as long as possible. I don't want to corporatize this. I don't want to turn it into some kind of big production house. But at some point, I'm going to have to register myself as self-employed because I'm starting to make enough money that I need to actually do that. So that's something that needs to actually happen. So it's already corporatizing by default, okay? And yeah, sure, registering yourself as self-employed isn't exactly the same as opening up a 500 square meter office in Shoreditch or anything like that, but it's one step on the path to success, my path to success, which is different from your path to success, which is different from one of the commenters' path to success that you might have seen. Your friends will have various ways of getting to success because some of them are doing, like, I don't know, rising through the ranks of a retail job. Some of them might be getting into corporate stuff. Some of them might be doing this. I don't know, all sorts of things like that. And so if you're making videos like this and you're basically selling yourself and your voice to YouTube and the Google algorithm at large, right? I feel like the best way to take comfort in that is that you're not selling your soul necessarily to the company who have access and rights to repurpose and reuse your footage however they see fit. Neither is it to the, you know, the nasty, nefarious people that will be out there trying to manipulate what you say into something that you didn't mean. It's the people that take the inspiration, it's the people that find encouragement, and the people that start to set their lives right because of this, or even if they just find some comfort. This is the nice thing, they like to sit down and eat some food, have their dinner while they're watching these, or maybe they listen to them while they go to sleep and it's a nice little voice in the ear or whatever, you know. Maybe you watch it while you're, like, it's a nice voice in your ear while you're at the gym or you're on the bus or whatever, you know. Or maybe you just sit and you just get pissed and stoned and you watch these videos. I put out a poll and I asked how people watch these videos and what circumstances what people watch these videos, and I think it was like 16% get pissed and stoned while they watch these videos, and I think like 40% do it while they're eating food or doing chores around the house. So if you're doing that, if you're hoovering, hello, it's hard to hear over the sound of the hoover because, you know, it's quite loud, unless you've got one of those new sort of automated hoovers, you know, the ones that kind of whoosh sort of around like that. But then you wouldn't need to do the hoovering, so I don't know why that'd be a big deal. So anyway, I feel like this video is starting to run its course, so I'll kind of wrap it up by just saying, I don't actually know who that was. I'm sure I do, but it's someone that's, oh, sorry. I'm sure I do know who that was, but it's just someone that's like kind of, you know, you met them once and you remember a bit of a face, but not totally. I don't remember a name. Maybe I met them at a pub or something like that, not sure. Anyway, to wrap the video up, it's not that it feels like you're commodifying your life. It's that you get yourself down about this idea and you worry about it, and it's very easy to catastrophize and to see the worst. But at the same time, know that everything tends to work itself out to some degree, and that the issues that you're thinking of aren't really the issues that are the most important ones. And it'll be something that you can never anticipate that will become the real issue, right? What an ominous note to finish the video on. Yeah, don't worry about it because there's something way fucking worse over here. So, yeah, I suppose that's going to be it from me. Hope you managed to get something out of this. If you're a small creator that's started to get monetized, how are you grappling with the fact that now you have money behind you, you're no longer a completely innocent voice in this endless sea of voices, right? How do you cope with that fact? How do you learn and develop and grow into a person that can understand their position? So that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of the day, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye. I do have to look because I want to make sure the camera's still there, because it's a bit freaky, you know. Yep, still there. Because there's no one sitting behind the camera, it's just sat on the table. Alright, that's good. That felt like a long one. Hey up everybody, my name's Jonny Mozza, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about this weird feeling that I've just gotten. So today I went out to do this interview kind of thing with someone who's really, really nice, and like, I really want to emphasize that it wasn't because of anything to do with that person. Like, they were really lovely. We had a really nice time going around filming this interview. It was really good, you know? And I enjoyed doing it. I did enjoy doing it, but I think I started to get a lot of these little anxieties of like, as this channel grows, it's realizing in my head, it's materializing in my head, and it's becoming this sort of thing like, I'm developing this sense of responsibility unto my audience. I mean, not just in the sense that I'm making 2 videos a day, but I need to also make sure that I don't, for instance, feed misinformation or disinformation. I don't want to, like, you know, I always talk about I don't want to get things wrong. Maybe that's okay with an audience of like 1,000, but say if I had like 100,000, I don't know what's going to happen with this channel. That's not out of the realms of possibility. And, you know, when I get to like 100,000 subscribers and like these videos get like 30,000 a pop, what do I do then? The effort that goes into them will probably end up needing to increase. I'm not really sure. And then there's also the sort of thing, it feels really arrogant to say, like kind of prima donna to say, but you know, like at some point people are going to start stopping me in the street and sort of going, are you Jonny Mozza? Are you like Josh, are you guy that does the videos? Oh, I've seen all your videos, man, I'm such a big fan, and all that sort of stuff. There's people developing parasocial relationships with me, and it's cool in a way, and I like it. I do like it, and I really appreciate all the really lovely comments from people. And like when people give a comment that like is like, oh, you've really inspired me and stuff, it does kind of make me emotional, and it makes me feel really, really like happy. But it's sort of like, I don't know, it's unsettling in a fun way. These are existential challenges that I need to overcome, I think, as this has become real. It started to feel real, like this isn't grassroots anymore, and it is. So I need to make sure I don't get beyond my station in that regard, and I don't know how to balance that, because I've never had media training, as you believe it or not. I've never had media training, so you know, I don't know what to say in front of the camera and what not to. That's another thing that scares me, is like the idea that the culture changes. Like I was saying to the person I was doing this interview with on the way back, say if I was doing these videos in 2016 and the culture of YouTube in 2016, now everything was all edgy and edgelord sort of stuff. Imagine if I was doing that and I was following whatever trend that was, and look at how terribly those videos would age. What if these videos age just the same way, and you know, the things that I say now aren't acceptable in the future? That idea kind of freaks me out. And like, you know, people will be picking up on what I say. At some point, people are going to start doing response videos on me and like, you know, picking out at like things I say and like noticing like discrepancies between like various videos when I vaguely talk about the same thing. It's like, oh, he contradicted himself. I am a walking contradiction in all regards. And that is kind of like what life is, because you come to new realizations, you learn, you develop, and you grow, and that kind of changes your mindset and your attitude towards things. And like my attitude now is completely different from 3 years ago. And if I was making these videos 3 years ago, you'd be getting a different message out of it. Same way as 3 years from now, you'd be getting a different message. And that's another thing, is like, am I the real me? Is this the real me? Is it? I'm not sure. What's the real me? Is it the real me that when I'm off the camera? Because I don't change that much when I get off the camera. You know, like I talk to myself a little bit. You know, I still do the, oh, shut up at the planes and like that kind of stuff. I don't know. It really kind of freaks me out. And I've kind of been grappling with it, because it's all hit me in the past half an hour. And I had to make a video just to try and wrestle with this quite existential idea. I don't think if existential is the right word. I think I'm worried about the idea that people are gonna take the wrong thing from my videos, because I try and give motivation. I try and make people realize that they are more powerful than they think. And that seems to be a really intoxicating message. And what if it stops being about the message and just starts being about, I don't know, like chasing the algorithm or something like that? Could I do what I do if I had 10 million subscribers? Or like, would I just end up like Joe Rogan or some shit like that, where I'm just like spouting off whatever bollocks that I happen to believe, but because I've got an army of people that follow me, they all start believing the same shit I think, and they all start parroting it around, and that's how we end up with the bloody world that we got now. I don't know what's gonna happen with this channel, and I'm really intrigued as to what is the future for it, because, you know, maybe I'm just getting way beyond my station here. Maybe I'm getting really arrogant and like, you know, oh, look at the big man with the big channel, you know, 1,400 subs. Oh, look, he got like 6,000 views on a video. Isn't he a fucking celebrity? It's like, not really, but like, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger from what I can tell, because this is only a month in. I am really excited. I am really genuinely excited. Please don't take what I'm saying now as like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore or anything like that, because I'm not going to stop. I'm absolutely not. But I do have to grapple with these things. I have to figure out what the future is in the way that my relationship is with the audience and my relationship with myself and my relationship with the videos themselves, you know, and sort of figure out what, you know, what the hell am I actually going to do going forwards? Is it going to be a case of I'm going to become like, there'll be like a video like the downfall of fucking Jonny Mozza or something? I don't know. I have no idea. What if I, you know, because there's so many YouTubers out that start off so genuine and they become so fake as all the sponsors deals come in, they sell out and they start taking their audience for fucking schmucks. And like, I don't want to do that now, but like, I bet they didn't want to do that back then, but they just did because their attitude towards it changed. And what if mine changes? What if I become a sellout? What if I start like doing that kind of thing? I don't want to, so I have to figure out how to humble myself. And the idea of that feels weird and arrogant in and of itself. And it all feels quite pretentious to talk about. And I don't like pretension. And it almost feels like not liking pretension is pretentious. And like, I don't know. It's not that I feel like I'm saying the wrong things or anything like that. It's not that I feel like I'm worried that I'm gonna get cancelled in the future or anything like that, because I've got all the right opinions, arrogant as that sounds. I'm fairly like, you know, I try and love everybody, you know, and I try and also not be a smug little centrist, and I try and figure out the right and from the wrong and try and like support causes. And that's another thing that comes through as like more and more political things go on and I get bigger. There's going to be that, you know, that whole thing with like people not speaking out about Palestine. You've got a platform, so you've got no excuse. And it's like, I've supported Palestine for like 15 years, and it's like, I watched documentaries about it when I was 10, you know? So it's not that I don't support that cause, but I don't know, I feel like I can't do any of that sort of stuff. I don't want to end up being part of the inevitable culture war. I don't want to end up being a part of that like everybody else. And I also don't want to act like I'm some fucking like, you know, island, just me, because no man is an island at the end of the day. I don't know how to grapple with all this. It's really weird. It's exciting, it's really exciting, but it's really weird. And I've just got to figure out what the future brings. And I am really excited for it. And I cannot emphasize enough how excited I am for this journey, because it's so cool what's going on right now. And the fact that so many people are getting so inspired by what's going on, it really touches me like at the heart, you know? But as I get more and more of them, they almost become like white noise. They haven't become white noise to me yet, but I know they will. Say once I'm getting them like every fucking 5 minutes, you know? Now I get enough that I can take in each one and like think about it and like think about them and empathize with them. But at a certain point, I'm gonna get so many that I'm not gonna be able to do that. I already can't respond to all the comments. I'm already so behind on responding to people's comments. I try to respond to what I can, and I feel bad for not responding to everyone, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm worried people will develop a parasocial relationship with me. And I don't, and you know, if I'm worried about that, then surely I should just stop, but I don't want to stop. So I need to figure out how to love that. And I do love it, so that's easy. And I just don't know, because it makes you realize that the world is way more chaotic than it appears. Like, because so many people out there that look like they're such fucking experts on things, they really aren't. They're just spouting off the way that I'm spouting off, but they do it with confidence, and so you believe them, you know? That's what this is. That's all these things are. It's a soapbox at the end of the day. Like, I can't live in denial about that. It's just one big soapbox, and it's a positivity soapbox. I try and keep it positive, and I feel like this is a positive video, as weird as a positive video it is. But I don't know. I don't know how to wrestle with this. if you have any thoughts on this, I think this is going to be the video I'm going to focus on responding to comments to, because I really want to get a dialogue going on this. Tell you what, can someone set up a Discord or something? I don't understand Discord, but if someone set up a Discord, maybe we could try and make a community together and like see what happens from there, because like I want that kind of thing. I do want like a little community to come out of this. That would be really cool. And I'm scared of the idea of being like some huge YouTuber, and I've recently had to wrestle with the idea that that is what this is going to become, because like it's exploding in a really weird way. Like it's really fucking cool. Please don't take this for me being ungrateful. This is me coming to the realization that I need to take some responsibility onto my audience and onto like these videos. You know, I don't know. I've got some duty to not just entertain or inspire, but also to put people on the right track, it feels like. And that's quite a lot, you know? What if I give the wrong message? What if someone takes the wrong idea from my videos and does something horrible? What if someone like, you know, what if I stop for whatever reason and that causes someone to spiral, you know? Because my videos are the only thing that keeps them above water. I don't know. They're all things I've had to grapple with, and I don't have the answers to them. And this is something that everyone has to think about when they are big on YouTube. Every big YouTuber has probably had to come to terms with this, but I've never heard it talked about. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what this phenomenon is. If it's got a name, if it has got a name, I'd love to know it. And yeah, I'd really like to know your thoughts on this, because I do want to keep doing this, and I won't stop. Please don't take this as me saying I'm done, because I'm not. I'm only just beginning. And that's why I'm making this video, because this is only just beginning. And I'm realizing that now. This is like, you know, imagine it's Lord of the Rings, right? So far, we've just been watching the fucking hobbits run around the Shire. This video is like the scene with the one ring. And it's like, oh God, that ring has some powers, you know? That's what this feels like. So yeah, this video has actually helped me feel a lot better while I've tried to work my way through what this actually is, because it is quite interesting, this feeling. It's not negative, it's not positive, it's just a challenge. And I like challenges. I do like challenges, but there's no but really. Yeah, I just like challenges. So yeah, more videos tomorrow and the next day, and for as long as people want them. So thank you very much for watching this. Have a great rest of the day. Yeah, take care. Bye. Hey up everybody, my name's Jonny Mozza, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the future of this channel, because for the past 2.5 months I've been making 2 videos a day, and it was a challenge that I set for myself, and now on the 31st of December I have completed this challenge. This is the last video of the year, and next year I'm going to be reducing my output from 2 videos a day down to 1 video a day. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's to come and what I plan on doing, because I don't know if I can necessarily do these exact videos forever at this exact pace, right? Because, you know, I don't have an infinite well of stuff to say, and I don't want to just be someone that just turns motivation into some kind of grift or commodity to try and gain money. What I want to do is try and develop this channel into something else, right, in the long term, while still retaining the heart and soul that actually come from the things that I make and doing what I love. So I've written some notes for this one. I don't normally write notes, but I've written a few things about what we're going to be doing in the future. So you can still expect to see these talky sort of videos where I go out into the middle of nowhere and just have a little bit of a chat. What I'm going to do those every other day, right? And every other day that you'll get an upload of that, right? And in the days in between, you'll start getting various other things. Maybe you'll get an album, maybe you'll get some like review of something, maybe you'll get whatever. I've written a few ideas that I've had here. So one is videos of me doing various things: editing, songwriting, recording music, general stuff at the computer. So I've already done a few videos like this. Like I've done videos where I edit my film, I've done videos where I've edited these videos, I've done videos where I record music and that kind of thing. So you can expect stuff like that going forwards. You can also expect just like albums, films, trailers, that kind of thing, because those are all going to come anyway, because, you know, as like that's that's what I do as a job, essentially, is I make films and I make music and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be happening. I also want to get into doing reviews of products, because I've got all sorts of stuff that I can review just lying around anyway. I've done 2 reviews of this microphone, right? I want to do more reviews of stuff. I've reviewed the camera as well. I want to review my other cameras. I want to review like my computer. I want to review, I don't know, Windows 10, just various stuff, you know? And I like talking about products, and I like talking about various things. I've got like a couple games that I want to talk about. I've got films I want to talk about, that kind of thing. So you can expect to see some you know, reviews, and they'll be in the same like conversational, naturalistic style of these. You know, I'm not going to start doing jump cuts and become a YouTuber or anything like that. So don't worry about me like becoming something that's not this at the moment, because I still intend to retain this style going forwards. There's also on-set vlogs for Jonny Mozza. I had this mad idea that is going to require me to get a bigger data package, because I've actually got a data package that means I only get 1 gig of data a month. So the last like 5 days of the month I have no data, so that's a little bit irritating. And what I want to do, I found I can get an infinite data package for like £30 a month, so I plan to get that. And what I want to do is I want to start taking this camera and hooking up to a laptop somewhere and doing these motivational sort of videos in a live stream format, where people can maybe put forward questions and I can answer them, or maybe people have a problem and I can be like an agony aunt or something like that, you know, and we can do them live in that sort of way. And what I'd like to then do is set up another channel called, like, I don't know, Jonny Mozza like clips or something like that, where, you know, I'll take all the most interesting parts of various live streams and then put them on that channel, and I'll put them in like short form as well. And maybe I'll make shorts out of these current videos. Don't worry, I'm not going to make them all like, you know, with the big text on everything. I'll make them quite naturalistic, like these are, because I feel like that's why people like them, because it's an oasis from all the fast-paced schlock that you kind of get. And I'm not saying that this isn't schlock. It's easy to film garbage at the end of the day. I mean, and I'm aware of that, and that's totally fine. But I feel like that's the style, and I want to keep that style going. I don't want this to become something that's not this, because that's not what you, the audience, signed up for when you hit that subscribe button. You know, you're not going to start getting like, smash that like button, hit that button, do this, do that, because I command you to, right? There's none of that that's going to be going into the future. But I would love to live stream these sort of various talking videos and maybe get conversations going on with the audience. Also, what I'd love to do is some point when I'm doing Jonny Mozza, if I've got this data package, is I would love to live stream an entire day of the filming, right? So say I do like a half day, a very simple one. Maybe just get someone to take the camera, and it's got a wire that connects it to a laptop or something like that, or maybe like even just through the phone or something like that, and we just live stream the entire film shoot process. Now obviously we wouldn't be able to communicate with the chat in that one, but I feel like it might be a fun educational sort of thing, so you can see what a film set is like, and it might give you an insight into how I make these videos, how I do things, my process and so on. And then you can pick things that maybe work well for you, and maybe see things that I do that you're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. So that's a lesson for you going forwards, that I'm not going to make that mistake that he makes, that kind of thing. And I like the idea of that. And then finally is interviews with random people, just talks, conversations, stuff like that. So I did one already. I did one with my friend John Henry Westhead about his film, Steve the Stammer's Missing Painting, that I was the director of photography on. And we just sat down, we had a conversation. We were at the pub and we shut the camera down, we had a conversation. And I want to do more stuff like that, and just talk to new and interesting people, not necessarily even in the film world or the music world. Maybe just, you know, I'd love to talk to a vicar about Christianity, or I'd love to talk to, I don't know, a politician about politics, or talk to whoever. Anyone who's willing to sit down in real life and have a conversation, or possibly not even. Maybe we could even do stuff over Zoom if there's someone that's interesting, like over in America or something like that, and we could sit down and have a bit of an interview and keep it all naturalistic and try and get into the nitty-gritty through a slow kind of process of figuring out the answers for ourselves, rather than ingesting the answers that someone else has already come up with. And then there's a few other things that I've put on here that are kind of just various little like life updates. Like one, I need to get a job. So I took some time off from like doing my usual sort of like gigs and stuff like that so that I could make the film Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And then I kind of got distracted and I ended up making these videos because so many people jumped on board and so many people are getting inspired by them, and I started just making so many of these videos. And at some point, like, the money's going to run out and I need to get a job again, right? Which is going to mean that it might make it harder to actually balance making the videos with making the money from like a real job. And the way I plan on doing things is I plan on taking the camera to work and then just like filming stuff on the way there and on the way back. And like, you'll probably start seeing the same few locations again and again, but I'll try and find new angles and stuff like that. And I'll actually repair the base plate on my tripod, on my camera, because for the past like month and a half, I've not used a tripod. I've just been propping the camera up on like the ground or on bins or like on tree stumps or benches and stuff like that and filming it that way. And like using my lens cap to just like angle it up slightly. That's all I've been doing. And people say that these shots look amazing. I don't use a tripod. And I don't think you can tell when I stopped using a tripod, apart from the fact that I think in the video that I stopped using it, I talk about how I didn't have a tripod anymore. So negating that, I don't think you can tell, right? So yeah, I need to get a job because I need to get money. Because, you know, we need to keep roofs over our head and stuff like that. And another thing on that topic of keeping a roof over your head, I'm planning on selling out and making a Patreon. So that's going to be, the way I sort of have the idea of doing it, right, is I figure for each subscription level, you'll get more videos. So I figure, say you do £1 a month, you get 1 video a month. Say you do £2 a month, you get 2 videos a month. Say you do £5 a month, you get 4 videos a month. Say you do £10 a month, you get like 2 videos a week. That kind of thing. And I'll figure out the exact details. And if you have any thoughts on that, please leave them in the comments below. If that would be something that would be of interest to you, even if you don't plan on donating yourself, if you think that's a good idea, or if you think I should shift the idea, or maybe you think the numbers are wrong or whatever, that kind of thing, right? So I do plan on setting up a Patreon because, to be honest, it would be another revenue stream. And I know that sounds like very capitalistic, but this is how your favorite YouTubers make money. Like you see all your favorite YouTubers, right? And they have so many different ways of monetizing themselves. They all have various channels. This is why like so many channels have like second channels and third channels and all that kind of stuff, because each channel that's monetized is another revenue stream. And then on top of that, that's why people take sponsorships. That's why people, like you might see someone you feel like they're selling out and that kind of thing. It's because they need to keep a roof over their head. And you know, YouTube doesn't pay as much as you might think, right? So that's why I am considering doing that. And it's something that, like, at first, like, I think the me that from like 3 months ago when I first started this channel would look at me now and go and just shake his head. You know, the same way that sometimes I see a YouTuber start a Patreon, I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, you're starting a Patreon, that kind of thing, right? But, you know, it is something that you know, I want to provide something interesting on the Patreon. Like, that's why I thought of this like almost lottery sort of thing, because there'd be various videos, some would be better than others, and the more that you put in, the more chance you have of getting a good video, because you'd be getting more videos in general. In terms of, like, you know how I'm always talking about the quantity over quality thing. If this is the first video you're watching, I'm not sure why the first video you're watching is the future of this channel, but anyway, if you sort of watch more of these videos, you know that I'm very much about quantity over quality, and I feel like that would be an interesting experiment into quantity over quality and seeing just how much you can get for that. And then finally, long term. This is very long term. This isn't over months, this is over years. I want to turn this channel into a production house. Now that's, I don't know the specifics of that, I don't know what's going to go on with that, but I want to turn this into something where there can be more than just me involved. I'll maybe still be the face of it, and, you know, I'll try and keep this soul and this sort of, you know, intimacy between myself and you, the audience, going. I don't want to commodify this and turn it into like some kind of like typical like production studio where it's all glossy and all that sort of stuff. I'd rather keep it like gritty and realistic and true to life. And that would be the vision for this company. And I was thinking like Mozza House or something like that. I used to have a production company, not much of a production company, but it was called Morrison Productions. And I want this new one to be maybe Mozza House or something like that. Or maybe I'll find a new name. And if you have any suggestions for names, please leave them in the comments below. And knowing that doing that, you give up the rights to use that name for yourself, and you can't come after me for using this name. I don't know if that's legally binding, but I thought I'd just put that in there just in case. Even I trust you. So yeah, that's kind of what I feel like doing going forwards, is that you're going to get one of these sort of videos every other day rather than twice a day, and you're going to start seeing various other things, but at the end of the day, it's all going to still be me, it's still going to be true, and it's still going to be down to earth, and I want to keep that as the ethos of this channel. And going forward, I want it to all be about yeah, just being true to yourself and not worrying so much about what others think, because if you're staying true to yourself and you're being genuine, people want to follow along. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's a big year ahead, 2025. I do plan on uploading every single day, so it's not like I'm reducing my output that much, but it will probably be a little, you know, but I'm reducing it all the same. I know I'm a little bit all over the place with this video, even with notes, but it's a hard topic to sort of figure out, because I don't know how well this video is going to hold up to the test of time. And a year from now, maybe it will be a little bit different. Maybe the specifics will be different. What will hold up is that I want to keep the ethos going of being true and being down to earth, and just leaving things naturalistic and gritty and realistic. And that's key to me. That's very important to me. That's how I see all film. That's value that I see in film, is I value the authenticity rather than the glossiness. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you managed to get something out of it. If you're starting a channel yourself, yeah, just begin. Don't worry so much about it, because you know, your first few videos are going to be shit anyway, and no one's going to like subscribe for your first couple videos. It's going to be like your 20th or 30th or 100th video even, that'll be the one that does well. And then from there, you can start figuring out things for the future. But just start, just begin, and that's all. So thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. Hope you got something out of it. And yeah, take care, everybody. And there's a lot of great things to come, and I'm looking forward to sharing them unto all of you. I don't know why I said it like that, all airy-fairy like that. So yeah, I'm going to do the pretentious thing and look out over the vista. So yeah. Ooh, isn't it so cinematic? He's sat on a bench looking out over a grand vista. It's not much of a grand vista. It's two tower blocks and a crane and some dead trees in the winter. Yeah, not much of a sight. Yeah. Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. Hey up, everybody. My name's Jonny Mozza, and director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why we haven't been doing these little day X filming is complete sort of videos. Why does it feel like maybe the progress has maybe slowed ever so slightly? And I'd like to clear things up regarding that, because I think, to be upfront, these videos have taken up most of my time, and they have become my first priority, and Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence has become my second priority, which means I work the film around these videos, not the other way around. And that's a balance I am actively trying to shift. I don't really have a backlog. Someone in the comments on another video asked me if I have a backlog, and like, how do I do these videos? By the skin of my teeth is the answer to that, because I do 2 videos a day. The most I've had in terms of a backlog is I had 2 days worth of videos done, and on one of those days I had to upload 2 videos, so really I only had 1 day of videos done. So I'm working quite actively to build a backlog. I'm trying very hard. I want to get to the point where I am 2 weeks ahead of wherever I am, so that way I can just not film these videos for a little bit and actually work on the film, because it is starting to distract me from that, and I've certainly been falling off of doing the film because of these videos. But at the same time, I feel like the film can wait, but these videos cannot. I've done something, I don't know what, but I've tapped into something here that needs to be extracted now, that needs to be used now, it needs to be done now. This cannot wait. Whatever this is, it's urgent. And I feel that urgency, and I'm going to keep doing these videos. So what I've said to myself, this is my promise to myself, and now it's going to be a promise to you, the audience. I promise at least 2 videos a day from now, the 17th of November 2024. This might come out tomorrow. I promise 2 videos a day at least from today until the end of the year. And then after that, it's going to be 1 video a day after that. And by that point, I want to get a 2-week backlog. So I was thinking about it yesterday, and then I realized that I was thinking of it as 2-week backlog in my time now in 2024, and not from the 1 video a day perspective that would begin in 2025. So I wouldn't actually have a 2-week backlog, I'd have a month backlog. So I would really be able to get some work done on this film and that kind of thing. And it's not like things aren't happening with regards to the film. I mean, Eva, the costume designer, has been sending me some amazing designs. She's come up with some really incredible things, like there's this panther sort of thing on Jonny Mozza's costume that he's going to wear during the big gig scene that happens at the end of the film. She's been doing all these crazy cool like things to do with that. I think we talk about it in the video about costume design. The producers and my co-director are looking at finding pub locations and stuff like that. So stuff is happening. And I need to spend today and tomorrow going through the Mandy. I made a Mandy thing, and I got about 150 applications. But honestly, I've had so much correspondence that I've not even had time to actually go through that 150 people, because it's not like I'm the kind of person that does like long series of interviews and like, you know, as if it's a privilege to work on my thing. For me, I see it as a privilege to work with these people. And so I tend to offer quite a lot of people the job. So if you want to work on Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, send your reel over and to Official Morrison Productions, sorry, Official Morrison Films. It's Official Morrison Films, so Official Morrison Films @gmail.com. That's Morrison spelt like Morrison's, without the S on the end. You know, the supermarket spelt like that. So yeah, I do apologise, by the way, for the lack of Jonny Mozza content and updates as of late, and I have felt a bit bad for not doing quite as much with it as I really should be doing, and I feel like progress has slowed, and there's been people that I've been really meaning to actually keep up with and get in touch with, and shoots that I need to arrange and stuff like that. I've only got 1 shoot to do next week, and it's a solo one of just me and the co-director, and I feel like I need to do more. I need to do more shoots, and I need to get more done, and that's why I'm working on a backlog at the moment. If I can get like a week backlog, then I can actually start working on that sort of stuff again. And I know what people will probably say is like, take a break, do things differently, and work towards doing things that way. But I don't see it like that. I don't see it as like, I work less, therefore I work better. I see it as, the more that I get into the flow state, the better I am and the better I function within the chaos, right? It's the same way, if you have a hurricane coming your way, right, and you put up all the wood on your windows and all that sort of stuff, now you're capable of withstanding that hurricane. That's kind of how I see it. I don't see it as, because the alternative would be, to keep the metaphor going, that would be like, I don't know, just moving house for the duration of the hurricane and then just coming back. And then seeing that your house has been hurricaned to the ground, to rubble, you know? So I don't really want to work things that way. I want to work things by going for the quantity over quality approach for this little, I'm going to call it a period, an era of Jonny Mozza that will probably last from now until probably like March-ish. Well, I'm going to keep doing these kind of videos. I'm going to keep doing the talking thing with no jump cuts and no like extra bollocks on top of it, where you get a sense that it's the real person that you're sort of having some kind of one-sided conversation with, because that's why people like listening to this sort of stuff. It's because they feel like they're joining in on a conversation, but they don't have the pressure to actually chip in with something interesting. They don't have to sit there and go, oh, well, actually, you know, when I was going down here, you know, I saw this thing and it was really like, oh, weird like that. And you're in a social situation, you've got a thing of like anecdotes and ways to be interesting and all that kind of stuff. And it can be a bit of a mental toll. That's why people like podcasts, because they can just sit back and just listen to other people do all the heavy lifting of socializing while you just sit there and just take in all the entertainment like that. So I think to kind of explain why Jonny Mozza has been slowing down lately, it's because of these videos primarily. It's also because I've been taking some time to just try and balance my actual life with the film thing, because I am definitely a workaholic, I've decided. I think I'm a workaholic. I love doing this sort of thing. And you know, I do genuinely wake up, have breakfast, have 2-3 cups of coffee, get to work, and then have a cigarette and go to bed. So that's basically what my days look like. And I love doing this because it's basically my dream job. And I could probably do this forever. And some days, obviously, I wake up a little bit tired. Some days I don't have, 100% in me. Some days I do, some days I don't. And that's part of being human. We're not all perfect specimens, and as I've tried to preach before. And I feel like part of why I like doing these videos and keeping them up is because people do get an emotional resonance from them. I'm not entirely sure why, because to be honest, whilst I have said that these videos take a lot out of me, they're not particularly hard to do. I mean, I can do 2 of them a day, and I've been doing that for the past month, so they're obviously not that difficult. But they're really fun to do, and I'm glad people are getting something out of them. Sometimes I do watch some of them back, and I'm like, Josh, what the fuck are you talking about? and then someone will go down and be like, oh, great, points that you're making here, and I'm almost looking at like, you understood what I was saying? It can sort of feel like quite strange, but in a way that I really enjoy and I really appreciate. And I'm so eternally grateful. I'm sure I say this in so many videos now, but I'm so grateful to everyone for watching and enjoying what's going on. And it's a two-sided thing, because I know that some people are really like, I get a lot of comments saying, thank you for making this. Thank you for joining in on this mad little experience, this mad experiment of the Jonny Mozza experience. Thank you for being here, because it really means the world to me. It really, really does. This past month, honestly, since I started this channel, I don't even have words to describe just how euphoric and happy I actually am for all this. It's incredibly beautiful, and I love it. And I want this to keep going, and I will do this forever. If people are interested in it, I will do this forever. As long as, people keep being inspired by it, and people enjoy it, and people can put it on maybe while they're doing the dishes or whatever. I don't know. That's how I listen to these kind of videos. I don't know. Maybe once, the year is done, I can start doing some experiments with the form and stuff as well. I'm just enjoying playing in the playground that I built for myself, and then at some point I'll turn it a bit avant-garde and I'll start exploring, because at some point this style of earnest kind of piece to camera kind of things, where it's about a personality driven, quite somber thing, that's going to go out of fashion. It just is, because it's the same way that the edgy humor of 2016 is no longer fashionable, and that's okay. But I don't plan to keep doing this even if the trend moves to something else. I'm not going to chase trends, but if I see the ship sinking, I'm going to abandon the ship and I'll find a different ship to get on, because I want to make sure that I can keep this audience entertained, and I want to, keep people happy, in the sense I want them to just be happy, not as in I want to be, approving of what I do, because they're not necessarily going to approve of everything I do. You're not going to like every video I make. You've probably seen a couple videos where you're like, Jesus Christ, shut up. And that's cool, that's fine. That's part of the experiment of quantity versus quality, because sometimes you're going to do more, and sometimes you're going to do less, and sometimes that doesn't correlate to the quality of the thing itself. Sometimes it'll be better, sometimes it'll be worse, and that's fine. So yeah, I think to wrap this up, I do apologise for the fact that Jonny Mozza has taken a bit of a slowness. My computer was a bit fucked. My computer is now semi-working again, but I am going to have to start buying new parts for it. I'm going to get monetized soon. I'm quite excited for that. I think that's probably what I'm going to put my money towards, is getting some of the parts. It's only like 200 quid I need to get new RAM, I need to get a new motherboard. Everything else I can salvage from the old computer. So that's all right. Yeah. And then once I've done that, well, I can actually start editing before I do that, actually. So I'm going to try and edit Jonny Mozza today and tomorrow. I haven't been able to edit it for like a week and a half. It's been killing me inside. It's really eating away at me. So I really need to get that done. And once I get that done, I'm going to do the day 5 and the day 6's filming is complete videos. And I'm going to start working towards getting day 7 done. Day 7 is quite a simple day. And then day 8, I really want to emphasize that day 8 is going to be quite a plot important day. But it does involve some actors that I need to actually contact and sort things out, and I need to arrange shooting times and actually make sure that the actor is the right actor for the role, that kind of thing. So yeah, once making a film isn't easy, and I never expected it to be easy. And I like the challenges that are coming along, and I want to remain open about the challenges that I am facing, because I think that's part of the interest. Like, if I was watching this kind of thing, making my own film, I want to see people struggle. I don't want them to make it look like a cakewalk and then I attempt it and I come across all these hurdles and it feels like I'm doing something wrong because everyone that I was inspired by seemed to do it so easily. You know, I'm very inspired by Joel Haver at the moment of his 12 Features project. And, you know, I bet he's very stressed out. I bet it's very difficult what he's doing, because I'm making one film and it's fucking hard. He's making 12, okay? So I can't imagine that's easy. He's got 6 films to edit in like a month and a half. So I do wish him all the best. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he comes out with. But yeah, I think part of what I'm trying to get at is this isn't easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat things and try and make it easy. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to reveal the bad times that I have, the super bad ones that are personal, but film-related stuff, definitely. You're going to see it all. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Please tell me about your projects in the comments below. I'd love to know what's going on with regards to what you're working on at the moment. Let's try and form a community around making film, particularly if you're in the London area as well. Do email me at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com, radio voice at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Just send your show reels or whatever. Don't bother with CVs, I don't read them. I don't read them because I don't give a shit, because people can lie on them. Like, it's blatant, but it's true. It's harsh, but it's true. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this. That's like the 4th time I've said that now. And goodbye. Hey up, everybody. My name's Jonny Mozza, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And I don't know why I'm doing these hand gestures. So the film is, I got asked the question, is it a feature film, narrative thing, or is it like a documentary kind of thing? And the answer to that is, I guess it technically could be considered a mockumentary, but not really. That's my basic answer. But if you want a longer answer, just watch the rest of this video. So my inspirations for this, I've said in response to that person, I said it's a little bit David Brent, it's a little bit Alan Partridge, it's a little bit Spinal Tap, it's a little bit, what else did I say? A little bit Richard Linklater, think like Dazed and Confused, Slacker, the Before trilogy. And in that sort of conversational sort of sense, it's a little bit the Duplass brothers with the improvisational thing. It's a little bit Joel Haver with the shot composition idea of having scenes play out in this long, unending singular shot, particularly in stuff like The Hero's Journey and all his films, basically. Like Pretend That You Love Me does it quite a lot, where it sets the camera down. It's just like this fly on the wall thing, almost like you shouldn't be there. Like it feels like a secret recording kind of thing, but it's not that. It kind of feels like that, but we're not going to do it in that kind of sense. And then, yeah, it's a little bit of all these things kind of jumbled up together. And then, you know, a dash of Spinal Tap on top. So that's kind of the idea. It is a comedy, primarily. There'll probably be little elements of drama and stuff like that in there as well, because there's no point having comedy without some kind of stake, especially if it's a feature film. Like, I'm not expecting to make people emotional in any way, but I want them to laugh primarily, but I'd like them to have some sense of like interest in the film as a whole going through it and connecting to the Jonny Mozza character, because this is a film from a singular perspective. It is from the perspective of Jonny Mozza. So this is Jonny Mozza's film. That's why it's called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. It's not called Lessons in Confidence. It's called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. So I might have to take the little speech marks out of it to make that more obvious, or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah. The way that I've been working it is that I've been kind of making it up as I go along, because I know the film. I know the structure of the film. It's a very basic sitcom plot. The basic plot of it is Jonny Mozza gets an opportunity that he bumbles his way and lies his way through, and what he's got to do is figure out a way of making sure that he can, you know, live up to that thing that he promised, and obviously he doesn't. So the whole film is him trying to form this band so that he can play this gig. So Act 1 is kind of introducing who Jonny Mozza is and like his life and blah, 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 blah. And Act 2 is, you know, he's got the gig opportunity, so now he needs to form this band, and it's the forming of the band, and that's obviously the longest act, because Act 2 is the long bit. And then Act 3 is the gig itself and the repercussions of everything falling apart, because it's a sitcom plot, it's obviously going to fall apart, you know. I'm looking at stuff like, you know, the kind of plots that Fawlty Towers would kind of do, that kind of thing where, you know, you're trying harder and harder and harder to keep up maybe a bit of a lie or keep up something like that. And essentially what you do, I just got to move for a car. So it's kind of that kind of plot. You can go past. So the idea is you just got to go through the film laughing sort of way through it, and I'm a little bit frazzled because of the car. So let me just sort of reset. So what is Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and why is Jonny Mozza like a character that's worth following? Why should I bother to watch this film? Well, if you like the David Brent, Alan Partridge kind of character humour thing with a lot of dry sarcasm and stuff like that, and a lot of very specific detailing, that's kind of what I'm going for with this film. I like the idea that Jonny Mozza is this like wannabe punk who really deep down has an affinity for prog rock. Because if you look at like the punk scene in the 70s and you see what they thought of the prog movement, they were not fans. If you went to a punk show and you were like, hey guys, have you heard Emerson, Lake and Palmer? You'd have gotten laughed out of the fucking room. You'd have been told to get the fuck out, you know? So Jonny Mozza is a complete phony, but he believes truly that he is the real deal. And that's kind of why he's fun. You know, he's a character that is essentially, I've boiled all my worst traits into like a singular person, and I've just unleashed him on this world essentially, because it is basically set in the real world. Some people have asked, is this a period piece? The answer is no, it's not, okay? It's not set in the past, it's not set in the 70s. It's set in the year 2024, or possibly 5, depending on if it comes out next year. It's set in the present day, okay? There's gonna be phones, there's gonna be iPads, there's gonna be stuff like that, okay? So a lot of it is about the over-romanticization of the past. It's about this Jonny Mozza character looking at the 70s and the 80s and kind of just thinking, Jesus Christ, everything was so much better back then compared to now, when it feels like there is nothing out there. We live in this sterile, postmodern world, whereas back then everything felt real and luscious and like everyone gave a shit and people could be genuine, whereas now everyone's got this sort of annoying irony to them, and everyone's kind of just living in this weird, I don't know how to, you know the struggles of the modern fucking day, I don't need to explain them to you, is that. So he doesn't like that, and we all have problems with the modern day, right? However, I think we can all generally agree that we have made progress in certain areas since the 70s, and sure, we might like romanticize some parts of the 70s that are certainly better than they are now. Like for instance, the music scene certainly was better back then. Things like these were better back then. However, that doesn't mean that you have to live in the past. You should still live in the present, because if you're just going to reject what you're being offered, then you're going to have nothing. It's better to have a 50% than to just be like, no, don't want the 50%, 0 for me, you know? So that's kind of the overall theme of the film. It's live happily in the moment, in the present, and you will become satisfied and you can become contented within your life, because that's the conflict, the inner conflict within Jonny Mozza. Is he's someone that, you know, feels like he's stuck in the wrong era. He's one of those like, I was born in the wrong generation type people that you see in YouTube comments. He's that kind of thing. And the overall idea for the film is just to make it a bit of an Alan Partridge-y, David Brent-y kind of. There's bits with the digicam that I've got where it's like lower quality. I'm planning on playing with the aspect ratio, like not vertical but horizontal. So sometimes it'll be more like that, sometimes it'll be more like that, sometimes it'll be more like that kind of thing. And having some fun with it, having some fun with the form, trying some new things. A lot of the film plays out in these very fly on the wall type things. A lot of the film, sometimes we do multicam, sometimes we just do mad experiments. And that's what it's all about. It's not about everything looking slick and professional and like the kind of normal films. I'm not interested in doing that. I would rather make this, look back on it and go, bloody hell, that was a pile of shit. But at least I expressed my true self. At least I did the real thing that is me. And this film is nothing but my true artistic expression. And I can't really do much more than try to do that. I've tried to emulate the bigger film sets and that kind of thing in the past, and I feel like you end up with a soulless product, and I don't want that. I don't care if this film makes no money whatsoever. I don't care if I go bankrupt doing it. I don't care if I sacrifice everything to this film, because, well, actually, no, I'll take that back. I don't really want to, but, you know, I want to make this film, and I'm willing to suffer for my craft. And do you know what? It's not been suffering whatsoever. It has actually been fucking amazing. It's been so amazing. And thank you so much to everyone who's involved. I'm not going to start naming names, because then I'm going to forget someone's name and I'm going to look back and I'm going to feel bad. But you know who you are, Everyone that I speak to, like on the WhatsApp and the emails and stuff like that, thank you all so much for being part of this film. I really can't wait to complete this journey with you, because we are on that journey at the moment. We are on the ship sailing out to the seas, and the horizon, the coastline is slowly dipping over the horizon. So yeah, I don't really have much more to actually add, just that this is amazing, and I really encourage everybody out there to try it. Just try it, even once, and decide it's not for you. Give it a go, okay? Because this is fucking brilliant. This, oh god, yeah. You can tell I'm in a good mood, can't you? Yeah. Right, I think that's going to be the end of the video. I think I've more or less covered what the film is. As I said, it's a feature film narrative thing, but that being said, there's also elements of, I don't know what that was, improvisation and so on in there. Similar in ways to what these videos are, but with characters and stuff like that. But, you know, it's going to be filmed on this camera that this is being filmed on, by the way. There's also a couple times where we're using multi-cameras, so I've got my Canon 6D, we filmed a couple scenes with that, and then there's a little Canon Fuji thing, which is quite cool. And I'm open to filming on whatever fucking camera, to be honest. If we find some weird camera, let's use it. Because us playing with the form, having some fun with it. So yeah, I think that's going to be everything. Probably dark in the shot now, so that's why I sat under this lamp. There's a way better shot that way, but there's no way I can get it. And if I turn the camera, it's going to look crap, so there's no point. I'll do it anyway. But yeah, anyway, this is the end of the video, by the way. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and all the rest of it. Leave your comments in the description below, and I'll respond to as much as I can. Love you all. Oh, actually, that's quite good. Check out the guy that's going home. He's had a long day. Oh, look at that guy, he's going home. He's had a long day. Oh, that would be such a cool shot. But that's not a window, that's a door. Oh well, maybe they need to knock the wall down. Put something new in for the scene. All right. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, this is the first video from this new channel, which is going to be called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. It's going to be named after a project that I'm working on at the moment, which is a little bit out there, right? So I've done a little bit about myself. My name's Joshua Morrison. I've done film for the past 8 years, and I've mainly done a lot of stuff on my own, and through working with other people on, you know, like bigger projects. You know, I've been on film sets for, you know, big companies on big films, and I've looked around at these film sets and taken lessons from them to apply to my own film sets, because I want to make my own films. There's a few lessons that I've learned, which is on these big sets, there is a lot at stake, and there's a lot of people that are all little cogs in the machine. So, for instance, a couple of years ago, I was on this set. I'm not going to tell you about like what the film was, but we were filming it in this big, you know, stately home, right? And I think my official role was a COVID marshal, which I don't really know what that means. I basically just got a phone call. It just said, Josh, do you want the job? Yeah, okay. And then you go down, you get there at like 7 in the morning. It started off with a lot of like wheeling equipment around and setting things up. I never actually did any setup. I just moved like crates full of stuff and got, you know, cleared rooms for filming, or just to store equipment and stuff like that. And I got in about 7, and we were doing a lot of this stuff inside the stately home. And so I didn't leave the stately home until about 9:30 in the morning, at which point I come out and I realise that there's about 60 extras. There's all these tents, like there's the sound department tent, there's the lighting department tent, there's the director's tent, there's, you know, the cinematography tent. There's so many different tents, and then there's loads of chairs in the middle of all these tents with people all sat around waiting. And then there's, you know, runners that come along and give coffees to everybody. And there were, honestly, must have been about 150 people on this set. And this set really stuck with me, actually, because I was looking around at things and thinking, the film that comes out of this, or the TV series, or whatever it was that comes out of this, is it going to be that good? For all the resources that they've got, for everything that they managed to get, are we going to create something that's genuine, that's interesting, that's, you know, going to be something more than just some shit to watch while you're, you know, sitting on your sofa, scrolling through Netflix, you know, watching it dead-eyed like this? And it's not that there's not room for that kind of thing, you know, like reality TV, I think, does that style of content a lot better because it's fully aware of what it is. It's not trying to give off this aura of pretension that, you know, this is a real project, this is something to make you think, and it's not really. And I don't say that to be hating on large films in general. You know, I loved Interstellar. I loved what else have I seen lately? The Platform. Well, that was a lower budget thing. I watched what have I watched? I watched The Batman with right. I bet that had a lot of days that had very similar sets to what I was working on, and I really liked that film. At the first 20 minutes, I was watching it kind of like, Jesus, they're taking Batman really seriously. And then I kind of realised that the directors and the crew were kind of in on the joke. And that made me enjoy it a hell of a lot more, because I realised they weren't taking Batman seriously. They were showing Batman in a way that was serious, but allowed you to see the ridiculousness of it. And once I figured that out, I was on board with the film, and I thought I was going to turn it on, hate watch it for 20 minutes and turn it off. I ended up watching all 3 hours. And it was a film I started watching about 1 a.m. I had to be up in the morning. And yeah, the film really captured my my imagination. I really liked the world building of Gotham and all that kind of stuff. So it's not to say that I'm against large budget filmmaking in general, but I do feel like most of the time it's not something that, you know, for the price of this one show or this one film, you could have split that budget up 1,000 ways and given it to 1,000 different sets of people and come up with 1,000 products, and many of them would have been better than this one show or film that ended up coming out of it. And I'm a big believer in quantity over quality, and I know that sounds counterintuitive, and I know that everyone always goes for quality over quantity. But let me explain why I'm a quantity over quality person, because it's not that I don't appreciate quality and I don't want to make good things. I do. There was this experiment that was done. I'm going to look it up actually. I want to actually get the name of the experiment, because it was something to do with eggs. They had 2 groups and they were making eggs, right? Quality experiment. Oh, it was pottery. Yes, they were making these pots, right? Qualitative versus no, this isn't what I want. Anyway, quantity leads to quality. Here we are. Yeah, so they had 2 groups and they both had to make these paper mache eggs. Well, this is the way I've always explained it. They had to make these paper mache eggs, and they had 2 groups. One group had to make as many eggs as possible in an hour, and another group had to make 1 egg in that hour, and they had to make it the best egg that they could possibly make. They collected the eggs at the end of the hour, and they surveyed them, they analysed them based off of certain criteria, like, you know, how smooth is the paper mache, is it lumpy, is it sufficiently egg-shaped, does it fit these specific measurements, stuff like that, right? And what they found is that there would be more than 1 egg in that quantity group that fit those specifications better than the 1 egg that quality group made. So despite the fact that the quality group had spent all that time working on that 1 egg, meanwhile the quantity group was sat there shitting out eggs one after the other, right? Like a factory farm. And they ended up creating more, like 10, 15 times more good stuff than the quality group did. So it's kind of taught me, it's better to make a lot of things than to make one thing that you try to make perfect. And I've been burnt on this again and again because I keep apparently having to learn this lesson. So the first film I did was called Michael's Lives, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get up because I've unlisted it because it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It was filmed on not even like this, because this was a good camera. This was filmed on something that makes this. look like whatever I'm recording that on, which is like the size of this fucking laptop. Oh, here we are. Letterboxd, directed by Jonny Mozza. Here we are. Does it have Michael's Lives 2019? An isolated addict falls in love with a picture on a business card who proceeds to have a very real impact on his mind. Ooh, it's psychological. Oh, it's so smart. Give me a break. So after that, I made a film called Cheap and Easy Meditative Efficiency, which I love that name, and everyone kept telling me to change the name, and I didn't want to. So I made that film, which I can get up because I am actually quite proud of that one. And why? One reason is the title. Look, it just comes straight up. Michael's Lives came up with all crap about Michael Lives and something about Rob Zombie, who's I like. He's all right, but it's just not for me. So I can show you this because it's my film, no copyright. So you see, this was my film that I filmed in 2019, and I was very perfectionist with it, and I ended up releasing it in 2022. There was a long post-production process that I really did not need to take that long with it. I could have easily released this in like 2020 during the pandemic, but I didn't, because I then ended up going off to make a film called I Am Scum. I made that during the pandemic, and that film, which is here, there we are, I made this in 2022, and because everyone was free, I was able to get a really good cast and crew. We were able to get 2 DOPs, although they didn't want to refer to themselves as both DOPs. They were very insistent on making titles for themselves. I was like, guys, you're both the DOPs. If the Coen brothers can both be directors, you guys can both be directors of photography. You're both brilliant. I both brought you on because you're amazing at your jobs. So I consider them even in terms of their hierarchy. But I think they wanted, like, I think one became a director of photography and one became a camera operator or something like that, right? So you got really nice shots like this, and this film was very much trying to capture like staticness. I wanted a lot of static shots. I didn't want anything handheld, which is a style I ended up diverting from for the next film that I did, which was my first feature, and it's the feature that actually taught me a lot of lessons about film in general. I'm just going to skip a ways through. So this film is called A Sheffield Psychedelic. I shot this in 2021. We shot it up north, and we did it in 6 days. Full-on insane, shooting schedules, really long days, really long hours, one day after the other. It was an adventure that we were all, embarking on. And the film was finished. It wrapped, and then me and the crew there, we ended up working on a couple other films called Scorched Earth and Connie Lynn, 2 other feature films you can find on Amazon Prime. I'll put the links in the description. And what it ended up teaching me was that, actually I'm going to keep it there because it can keep the engagement up, because then you can be watching this while listening to me talk. What all these films taught me was I was trying to do too much, and I was trying to emulate these larger scale films, and I wanted to make a film that was like that, right? You see your influences, you watch a really good film and you want to make something along those lines, but you haven't found your own voice. And if you don't have your own voice, I kind of wonder what the point of doing any of this is, because if you don't have your own voice, what are you saying? You're saying someone else's words, essentially. So for a long time, I didn't make stuff. I worked on music, and I helped out with people, and I freelanced on sets and did like headshot photography and videography and corporate gigs and shit like that. And I didn't make another film for a long time. A lot of personal issues happened in my life that kind of made me realize that I need to get back into it, that I need to actually give this another go, because I've been preaching a lot about this quantity over quality thing, but I've never actually practiced it. And something else that I really take to heart alongside that is you don't get anything done by planning. Obviously you need to plan when the thing has been arranged, but I feel like what's better is to go out and start making a film. even though you don't have everything figured out, rather than to go the other way and figure everything out and sterilize the film first. Because that's what's going to end up happening. You're going to end up creating a sterile product. And I've made sterile products before, and I don't want to do that again. I want to make something that feels organic and naturalistic, and I know the kind of thing that I want to go for. And so Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence is the amalgamation of all of these different lessons that I've learned across the past 6-7 years as my career has gone from student films to independent artist, which is, you know, another way of saying failure, to corporate videography man, to, you know, gigging like here and there and working retail jobs and, you know, stuff like that, you know, it pays the bills and stuff, and I'm glad that I do that. However, I really felt the need to get back out there and start making something else, and I'm going to stop that because I realise I'm showing you way too much of a film that's not out yet. And yeah, I decided that I wanted to make this film now, because now is when I'm invested in it. Now is when I have the passion to set all this up, just to have a chat, because I've got it all able to flow out of me, because I know what this film is, I know what it's about, and I know that it's going to resonate with a certain demographic. And everyone that I've spoken to get them involved has said the exact same thing. This character speaks to me. This character speaks to me. And that's some of the highest praise that I've gotten, the most enthusiasm that I've ever gotten for a project is with this film. And that means that I know that this is a good idea, and I know that this is something that I need to get done, rather than to procrastinate on it and try and perfect everything and make sure that everything goes exactly according to plan. At the moment, I'm writing a script, and I've already cast everything. I went through all my old casting calls, right? And I emailed every single person that I hadn't already hired that lived in London, right? That set their location to London. Some of them had obviously moved away. Some of them weren't interested. A lot of them weren't interested, and a lot of them just didn't respond. Some of them responded just to say they couldn't take up the project because they wanted to prioritise paid work and etc. etc. And I totally understand that, because we need to all pay our bills. It's a cost of living crisis. Things aren't going exactly great, and I'm sat here trying to get people in for free. However, the reason I'm doing it, and the reason I think people are interested in jumping on board, is because, one, they need showreel footage, which is why a lot of people tend to come onto my things. I help a lot of people get onto Spotlight, for instance. And the way that I do that is through providing them with headshots and providing them with showreel footage and guiding them through that early stage of the career. And then once they get onto Spotlight, because the people at Spotlight have managed to infest their way into the industry like rodents and and now everyone thinks that you need a spotlight in order to be able to get professional work, and it's not the case, I've felt like. However, a lot of people do see it as the case, and a lot of production companies do see it as the case. So in a way, just because I don't see it as the case doesn't mean that others don't see it the same way as me. And some people do treat Spotlight as a be-all and end-all, even though there are alternatives like Mandy or Star Now and I've forgotten the other one, that are there to put an actor's profile out there. So you've got show reels, you've got audio reels, you've got various headshots, you've got a description, you've got a list of their skill sets. Sometimes you want to get an actor in who's able to play the guitar, or you want someone that can dance, or you want someone who can improvise, right? And Spotlight is good for that. Mandy does all the same things as that, and Mandy's not free for actors. I just realised. Mandy, you've got to pay £40, I think a year, £40 a year, something like that. Spotlight, you've got to pay something like £180 a year, which I think is just awful. I think that's foul as a business practice. IMDb Pro also, just so you can get your picture on there, so that when a producer or when a casting director sees your IMDb, they see your face on it. That's all you're getting. You go on Facebook, or you go on Twitter, or you go on YouTube, free. You can get a profile picture for free. Why have I got to pay to get a profile picture on IMDb? I don't get it. Well, I do, because it helps people get work. And if it helps people get work, then IMDb, owned by Amazon, want a little bit of that, right? So I've started making this film. Well, when I say I've started, I've gone out and I've cast a lot of people. I've cast about 30% of the film. I've written 40 pages of what's going to be a 90-page script, and I already know like how the story is going to unfold. I've got a list. I've got a treatment that I wrote, cool, which I can't find on here apparently. So across the next couple months, I'm going to regularly do these sort of videos where I talk to the camera and I kind of ramble on a bit. And I think what's important to get across is that I'm not someone that knows exactly what they're doing. I'm doing everything a bit scrappy. And I feel like if you lean into that, you end up with a more authentic image than if you try to look professional and you fail. I would rather something look a bit shit, but feel really interesting, rather than something that looks really good, but isn't, hasn't got a soul. And it's not that it's either or, but I feel like when you've got a low budget, it kind of is either or, because, you can get like a big casting crew together, you can get dozens of people, like runners and cast and assistant cameras and assistant sound, boom operator, sound mixer, focus puller, runner, all these different things, right? And when you get onto those sets, especially in houses, when you do a film that's set in like a house, if you've got like a living room scene, what you're going to find is that the spare room is just chocker full of crap. It's not even going to get really used for the project. You're constantly sort of shimmying past, going, excuse me, sorry, right? All this, right, gets in the way of what the scene is, because the scene is the most important thing. And as little preamble as possible, in my opinion, from experience, leads to more interesting scenes. I find some of my favourite scenes are the ones that don't look all that amazing, but that have that little something, that little energy that gets suckered out by larger professional sets. And it's not that I want to decry the traditional form of filmmaking. And it's not like I'm doing anything particularly new. I'm basically just, taking from the likes of French New Wave, Joel Haver, who's also took from the French New Wave, and stuff like Clerks and these really low budget, Bad Taste, although Bad Taste is more of a B movie. I'm not out to make a B movie, I'm out to make a micro budget, semi-improvised, semi-comedy, semi-drama. But then it's a British comedy. It's a miserable little comedy about an idiot who shouldn't really be going off spouting his opinion and ends up alienating everyone around him as a result. And I like those kind of films. I love stuff like Alan Partridge. In fact, this is one of my favourite films. Alan Partridge, 12 ostriches, 24 hours, 1 partridge. Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa, out now. Well, out about 11 years ago, right? I love stuff like this. This is my favourite kind of film. When I went through some stuff which I might end up talking about if I feel like it. When I went through some stuff last year, I watched this film about every single day, sometimes twice a day for about 2 weeks. And I've never tired of it. I sometimes tire of the third act once they get onto the bus. I feel like it loses something slightly once it gets onto that. Like the final shootout is a little bit, but it's still good. It's still good. But I think what makes it interesting is the character. The character is the key thing. It's like, imagine The Office without David Brent or Michael Scott if you prefer the American version. Imagine Father Ted without Father Ted. Imagine, I don't know, Blackadder without Rowan Atkinson. These characters are what make the film. and they are the most interesting aspect of a film. It's not the camera work. And if the camera work is the best thing about a film, I mean, it's certainly impressive. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff that I see, it absolutely blows my fucking mind. Especially like stuff they can do with drones now, where they like fly in and out around cars and car chases and stuff like that. The Raid 2, when it's got its action sequences, where like some of these amazing action sequences, like the one in the car that goes from car to car, where they're literally driving and they're handing the camera off to another person in another car. Like stuff like that is incredible. It is seriously amazing stuff. But I don't find myself going back to the Raid, because I watch the clips on YouTube of the action scenes, but I never go back and watch the whole film, because I never found that the characters spoke to me in a way that something like Alan Partridge or something like The Office or anything like that. You know, the Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy from Before Sunrise. There's something about those characters that speak to me, and I like that very dialogue-driven, very naturalistic kind of thing. And I want to make something that's kind of like that. And I'd like to continue to update you with how things are going, and eventually the film will come onto this channel. You'll start seeing trailers, you'll start seeing little scenes from it, little behind-the-scenes snippets. I'm going to bloody do all the shorts and all that crap. I hate shorts, but you know, I've got to play the devil's game at the end of the day. So, because it's what gets all the engagement. Like, most likely, if you're watching this, you originally found it through a short. And I just think that it's better to go out there, try something, and fall flat on your face, than to go out there and to, you know, stand in the corner at the party, drinking like this. Oh, I don't want to talk to him. Scares me, you know, like, that's maybe why it's called Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. It's my own lessons in confidence. Like, Jonny Mozza, at the end of the day, is someone who is kind of a lot of my own worst traits put into a person. It's someone that I can very easily tap into, because he's not particularly dissimilar from myself. He's very image conscious, and I'm not very image conscious, so there's that. But apart from that, it's not much. It's really not much at the end of the day. And I think what I'd like to do is end this here. And thank you very much for watching, because this is going to be a continual thing. We're gonna do more of these. Sometimes I might bring up a specific topic, you know, like I'm trying to get these sorted out for Sunday. I'm doing a shoot on Sunday, and it's a pain in the ass, because I've not used these in a while. So I think they've, like, I don't know, can technology rot from lack of use? I don't know, but it feels like it has. So I'm thinking, do I need to get new ones, or like, am I gonna? At the moment, I'm recording it onto the phone. So I'm doing it that way, and it's all right, you know, doing it this way. But I don't know if this is going to be the way that it should be done throughout the whole film. Maybe because like the noise gain on this is higher. I'll have to check stuff like that through this. And yeah, that's. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for listening. I know it's been quite all over the place. As I get used to doing these, I'm going to get better at talking and making my point very clear. If you've got any thoughts, put them in the comments. I'll respond to what I can. Let's try and form some kind of, you know, community. You know, if you're in the London area, you want to be part of this project, do shoot me an email at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com. I'm going to say it like the radio. That's officialmorrisonproductions@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, that's going to be it. Hey up everybody, my name's Jonny Mozza, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the future of this channel going into 2025 and what you can kind of expect to see from me going forward, because I don't know if I can keep doing this exact type of video forever because I don't have an infinite amount of things to say. Sure, I can tackle the same thing from different angles, and I've certainly done that a few times. Like I've done quite a few videos now about the idea of making music quickly and how you should make and release music quickly rather than get bogged down in perfectionism. And I've tackled that from a few different angles and a few different ideas, and I've done the same with making films and this kind of thing. And then I've done it from a more general philosophical point of view. And I'm sure there's many more ways that I can actually tackle that issue, right? And I want to keep doing them, and I'm not going to stop. Don't take this as me saying I'm going to stop in the new year. I'm going to keep doing these videos. But going forwards into the next year, I wanted to sort of figure out what it is that I'm going to do with regards to how can I keep this pace going, because I've noticed that my priority has shifted from doing the Jonny Mozza Lessons in Confidence film to doing these videos, and I really need to shift my priority back to actually doing the film, because now I'm quite behind on doing the film itself, and I've been keeping up with doing these videos. So going into the new year, I've already mentioned this, but I'm going to go from doing 2 videos a day, possibly 3, to doing 2 videos a day, to doing 1 video a day, possibly 2. So I'm not going to keep doing this number of videos. I'm also thinking that I might start doing shorter videos. I might start doing more of these kind of things, but they'll be maybe 2 to 3 minutes long rather than 8 to 15 minutes long. And I'll just get the exact thing I want to say figured out, say that, and then move on, and then do time and time and time and time again, and condense the overall point down, because you don't have all the time in the world. I'm guessing you put these videos on in the background while you're off doing certain stuff, so the long form thing will certainly keep going. And I've started doing these little compilation sort of videos where I take a few various things, videos that are talking about a similar topic and combine them together, and I've got like 6 compilations in the vault at the moment that I'm going to slowly eke out over the next couple of weeks. And then going into the next year, I've got more various things I want to do with the Jonny Mozza Lessons in Confidence film. Because when I started this channel, it wasn't meant to be a motivational fucking me wandering around sitting on random fucking benches and talking to you sort of thing. It was meant to be a marketing channel for the sake of the film. And so a lot of the videos would have been like little film set vlogs and like talks with various actors and interviews with the actors and that kind of thing. And, you know, maybe a few videos of me at my desk sort of giving you progress updates on the film, that kind of thing. But it seems to have expanded to this overall overarching philosophy kind of channel where I try and talk about motivating you to actually go out there and just create stuff rather than getting yourself worked up in the head about, is it good enough? Am I just wasting my time here? Because you're not wasting your time. No matter what you might tell yourself, you aren't wasting your time. So just do it. Just keep doing it, because you'll be glad you've done it. Say if you're 20 now and you're making music, for instance, the more music you make, the more stuff you have to look back on when you're like 60 years old, and you'll be able to go through your old, you know, songs or whatever and go, bloody hell, I made that 40 years ago. Jesus. And the more you make, the more you'll have to explore for your future self. So you're doing your future self a favor, because you're also chronicling your mindset at this present moment. You're chronicling what you are today rather than what you will become or what you were once in the past. And the videos that you make today about who you are now will become who you were in the past. And that's brilliant. That's beautiful to me, because you always are shifting as a human being. You weren't always like this. You once were very different. Maybe you're super happy now, but you were really unhappy and depressed before. Maybe it's the vice versa for you, and you're a really low point in your life and you want to try and get out of it. And you look back at your old sort of videos of yourself and you go, Jesus, I was so happy back then. And it kind of gets you down. But then you sort of think, well, hang on, I can get that happy again. I can make it. I can make my own happiness. And I think with this channel, going into the next year, I'm going to keep doing these specific sort of videos, but I'm not going to do them like twice a day. I'm not going to keep doing them and trying to force them out. I'm going to say what I have to say when it comes to me. So I think the videos themselves will get slightly higher quality, because I've done a lot of quantity over quality now. I've made my 100 videos and there's probably like maybe 10 good ones in there. I've done that approach. And now I want to try doing the quality over quantity approach, because I like to ebb and flow. And I don't think you should remain fixed in what your current philosophy is. You should always be taking in new information and applying it to who you are and trying to figure out where you can go next in your journey, etc. Not just as a creator, but just in life in general. You know, like, I'm sure when you were 16, you were a knobhead just like I was, right? And now, but when you were 16-year-old you probably thought that 14-year-old you was a knobhead, but now you're all right, right? And then 18-year-old you, 2 years after the fact, thought 16-year-old you was all right, was a knobhead, but now you're all right. And now I look back at my 14, 16, and 18-year-old self, and my 20-year-old self, and actually my 22-year-old self, and I think all of them are fucking knobheads. All of them were twats, right? And now I'm all right. But in 2 years from now, I'll watch these videos and I'll think, God, he's a twat. And then 2 years from then, the exact same thing. But that's the nature of developing. That's the nature of growth. That's how the human spirit matures through the ages, right? And you'll never beat that. You will always mature. No matter, even if you try and not, you're going to inevitably anyway. You're going to become the person that you're going to become, and you can't do anything other than try and guide yourself to the correct destination, right? So what I'm going to say is, in the next year, there's going to be 1 video a day rather than 2. There's going to be different kinds of content as well. I've got this series that I used to do called Phineas King, which was basically me going around interviewing people in the street, and it was a bit of like an Alan Partridge knockoff sort of thing, right? I've got about 40 minutes worth of that, so I'm going to make a supercut, and then I'm going to just do the current videos as they are. So I'll have like the current cut and like a bigger supercut, and I'll put those into 2 videos, and those will come out some point next month. And then I'll do more compilations, and I'll do some other types of content. Maybe I'll do some skits, like some Joel Havery, YouTube-y type skits. Maybe I'll do some like mini short films. Maybe I'll do music videos for the songs that have come out. I've got a couple music videos shot already. I just haven't released them. And I'll just make different stuff, and I'll try different things, because I don't want to box myself into being the guy that tells you to go make stuff and just be that guy that's just constantly preaching but never practicing, right? That's why I try and continue to release albums and little things on top of these videos, just so that you can see that I'm not just saying shit for the sake of it, right? That it's all empty and vapid, so that you can actually take something from these videos, because I don't want them to be empty words, right? Even though I don't have a script in front of me, even though like my phone's out, but it's just literally telling me how long I've been recording for, and then once it gets to about 10 minutes, I'm going to wrap it up. Even though these aren't scripted, even though these aren't planned out in any sort of way, even though the shot is probably barely visible now and I've had to color grade it so it's all super grainy at this point, I think none of that takes away from the fact that what people take away from these videos is beautiful. And I'm so happy that people are able to get something out of my words. And I want to make sure that these words have meaning, and that they continue to have meaning going forward. So I feel like I can't just continue to just say the same old shit forever, right? And I really mean that. I don't want to become one of those YouTubers that just does the same thing forever and ever and ever and ever. I'm going to change with the times. I'm going to experiment with new types of content. I'm going to try new things. And I think you have to, because if you don't, then what's the point of being a creator? You're not creating at that point. You're just regurgitating the same thing that you've said before. And like, if I just continue to do the 2 videos a day thing, right? I'm happy to do it for another 2 weeks and then get to the end of the year, and that's like my little challenge complete. But if I did 2 videos a day for the whole of 2025, I'm going to run out of stuff to say at some point next year, right? If I kept doing that. And I would just start repeating the same old shit. And people would get bored of it. People would see through the cracks, and the cracks would start to show, and the magic would wane. Or whatever it is you might get out of these videos will suddenly feel empty, and you won't even be able to go back to the old ones where it might feel like it was genuine, because you've now seen that I'm actually a fake or whatever, right? I don't want that to be what the future of this channel is. I want this channel to grow into something that isn't this at the present moment. I don't think this is sustainable in the long run, but I love what I'm doing at the present. And I think, yeah, going into January, there's going to be some new types of content. There'll be these sort of videos as well. So, you know, you might watch these, but then there'll also be some other things that you can watch instead. And there'll be various things like that. And I'll try different things and I'll experiment. And that's part of what the point of doing this is. That's the point of creating in general. And I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself now, and the words are becoming emptier and emptier each time I say them. In this current video, the thing that I'm trying to say, which is the future of this channel. So I'm going to wrap it up here. And yeah, going into the future of this channel. Expect more Jonny Mozza lessons in confidence, the film videos, like set vlogs and stuff like that. Various, I might take some of my old short films as well and upload them to this channel because this channel's monetized and I'd like to make a few little quid off them. Even if it's only like a $5. It'd be nice to know that, you know, years that I spent on whatever project made a $5, you know, better than it making 0. So that sounds really capitalistic, but you know, I haven't really got anything to add to that. So I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna leave you, so you take care, and yeah, have a good rest of the day, everybody. Bye bye.